Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. My name is Matt Gracie, and I'm an engineer on the professional services team at Security Onion Solutions. We're getting ready to put out our first release of the new year, version 2.4.120, and this video is a preview of some of the major new features that you can expect. It's not intended to be an exhaustive inventory. There's an awful lot of back-end improvements that will not be apparent to you as an end user. But these are the biggest new features and interface changes that you can expect to see. Let's get started. The first major change in this version of Security Onion is an update from Zeek 6 to Zeek 7. This comes with analyzers for several new network protocols, which are enabled by default in 2.4.120. If your Security Onion grid is monitoring networks that carry QUIC, LDAP, HTTP2, or OpenVPN traffic, metadata about those network flows will be recorded just like the Zeek parsers you're familiar with from before. And, in many cases, we've included pre-built visualizations as part of our dashboards tool to help you sort and investigate this traffic. Now don't forget, with any new log that you collect, including these ones, there's an opportunity to turn anomalies into alerts with custom Sigma rules and detections. For example, wouldn't it be handy to get an alert when you start seeing LDAP lookup requests from an unexpected IP on your network? Check out our documentation or our training offerings for more information on how to take advantage of this detection opportunity. Speaking of detections, our next major feature update is related to the detections module that we released in 2.4.70. As you know, that was a big leap forward in making it possible for analysts to tune the alerting rules in an environment. Rather than the old method of accessing the Security Onion Manager over SSH and then updating YAML files in VI, we exposed all of that tuning functionality as part of the web console. We're continuing to refine this part of the platform, and in 2.4.120 we've added a detections panel as part of the alerts interface. Here you can see the alert screen that you're used to, but you'll notice that over on the right-hand side of the window there's an overview panel. If we click on one of the alerts here, you'll see that the panel expands to show the AI-generated summary of the rule. We added this functionality in our last release, 2.4.110. Every rule in the default Suricata rule set has one of these summaries, which explains in plain English what the purpose of the rule is and what traffic would trigger it. This is valuable insight for your analysts, who can take advantage of this context when they see a new alert for the first time. There's also a slider here to disable the rule if necessary, as well as a tuning interface showing any thresholds or tuning options that have been applied to the rule. As you can see here, we've got a single suppression rule, which we can open up for details. This new panel in alerts isn't the only change we've made to detections. There have been some stability improvements and bug fixes on the back end, some minor interface tweaks, and we've also added a feature where each tuning parameter in our rule can have a separate note attached to it. A lot of users asked for this to help keep track of why tuning decisions were made, and we're glad we were able to add it in this release. Speaking of feature requests from our users, we now package the Elastic Agent as an MSI as well as an EXE. As always, the Elastic Agent installers here on the SOC download screen are custom built and configured for your particular grid, and are available for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Starting in 2.4.120, the Windows installer will be available as both a plain EXE and an MSI, making it much easier to do a fleet deployment using Active Directory or a management tool like SCCM. If you're not using the Elastic Agent in your environment yet, you should definitely test it out. There's almost no configuration required aside from setting your manager to accept the incoming traffic, and it's a great way to pull in endpoint logs and telemetry to correlate with your network monitoring efforts. Next up, we've enhanced the ATT&CK Navigator interface in SOC. For those who are unfamiliar, this is a local copy of the MITRE Enterprise Attack Matrix. The purpose of this matrix is to provide a taxonomy of the tactics and techniques that an attacker might use when trying to compromise a network and cause damage or exfiltrate data. Each box in this matrix represents a malicious indicator that we would like to be able to detect. You may remember in earlier versions of Security Onion, before detections, the Navigator was linked on the back end with the old Playbook module. Rules that were enabled in Playbook, and which had a MITRE technique number as part of the rule, would be highlighted in Navigator. We've done something similar here, building overlays for the Sigma and Suricata rules that are enabled in your environment, as well as a combined view that shows both. There's also a view that maps the alerts you've received over the past few days to the matrix, so you can see where your defenses are being tested. This is a very helpful tool for gap analysis to determine where you might need more detection engineering effort to catch a particular technique. If you want to see exactly which detections are available in Security Onion for a particular technique, that's as simple as right-clicking on the technique and selecting View Related Detections. Here we see a list of all the rules that are tagged with technique T1134, both enabled and disabled. And if you want more information on the technique itself, you can right-click and go to View Technique. Overall, these Navigator updates are a real boon for getting a holistic view of the rules you have in place, and where you might need to write or enable new ones to eliminate blind spots, and we hope you find it useful. Finally, we have an update specifically for our Security Onion Pro Enterprise customers. Starting in 2.4.1.20, there is a full API available for integrating Security Onion with the rest of your security software infrastructure. As you can see, we have a full Open API specification here. The goal for this implementation was to make it possible to do anything from an API client that you can do from a normal Security Onion console. You can create cases, make configuration changes to the platform, create and tune detections, retrieve and acknowledge alerts, manage users, and more. We'll have more videos about this functionality in the future, but we're very excited to see where this leads and what sort of integrations we're able to enable in our customers' environments. If you'd like to get a feel for what this API can do, I'd suggest checking out Vidalia. That's a sample Python Flask application that we built to demonstrate the API functions, and we'll be making available at the same time as 2.4.1.20. Details will be included in the official release announcement. If you'd like to know when this new release is available, the best thing to do would be to follow us on social media. We've got accounts on X, Mastodon, and LinkedIn, along with this YouTube channel. And any news or updates will also be posted on our blog at blog.securityonion.net. We pride ourselves on our documentation, and it will be updated with all these new features as soon as 2.4.1.20 ships. You can access that at securityonion.com/docs. If you've got questions about any of these new features, feel free to start a new thread on our discussion forums. Those are available at securityonion.com/discuss. And finally, if the API news has piqued your interest about Security Onion Pro, you can get more information about that at securityonion.com/pro. That will take you to a list of features that come with this enterprise license, along with links to Pro-specific documentation and an explanation of how the licensing works. I hope you found this video useful and you're as excited about the release of 2.4.1.20 as we are. We've put a lot of work into this release and can't wait to have you use it. And keep an eye on our social media and our blog. We've got a lot of really great stuff planned for 2025, and you'll want to stay on top of these announcements. Thanks so much for your time, and have a great day.